Okay, so welcome to the deep dive, everybody.
Yeah, welcome.
Today we're going to tackle something that I think is on everyone's mind pretty much all the time.
Right.
Making smart money moves.
Yeah.
But specifically, we're going to be focusing in on the most common financial mistakes people make in their 20s, their 30s, and their 40s.
It's true.
So think of this as like your personal roadmap
Exactly.
to swerve around those financial potholes.
Yeah, I love that analogy.
Yeah.
Because it's really true. Like, when you hit a pothole, it can really throw you off course.
It can.
And it's the same thing with finances.
Yeah, I make mistakes.
Like a little bump can turn into a big problem later on.
They can really add up over time, right?
Absolutely.
It's like, you make a small mistake in your 20s and then suddenly you're 40.
Exactly.
And you're like, wait a minute.
How did I get here?
Yeah, how did this happen?
Yeah.
So we're going to break it down by decade.
Yeah, that's a great approach.
Really zeroes in on these traps we can fall into.
Right, because each decade has its own unique set of challenges.
Absolutely.
And temptations.
Yeah, and we want to give you the tools
Exactly.
to avoid them, right?
Absolutely.
So no matter if you're just starting out in your career,
Yeah.
maybe you're juggling family life or you're really starting to think about retirement.
Mm-hmm.
This deep dive is for you.
It is for everyone.
We're going to pinpoint those specific traps.
Yeah. Love it.
And more importantly, I think we're going to give you those strategies.
Give you the tools.
Yeah, to get around them,
Yep.
to not even fall into the trap.
And it's not about making these huge, drastic changes overnight.
Right.
It's about understanding the ripple effects of these small habits. That might seem insignificant right now, but they can make a big difference down the road.
It's those little choices you make every single day
Yes.
that add up to your financial future.
Absolutely. And we're not here to criticize past choices.
Right.
We're here to empower you to make informed decisions going forward.
So let's start with the 20s.
Okay, to do it.
Those foundational years.
Yeah.
Packed with new experiences.
The world is your oyster.
You're landing that first job.
You've got that first real paycheck.
You've got that paycheck. You're exploring new cities, maybe. But it's also when some really critical financial habits start to form.
Yes. This is where it all begins.
And some of them aren't so good.
Yeah, unfortunately.
One of the biggest challenges we see is just not having a handle on a budget.
It's so easy to fall into that trap.
Yeah.
You have that new freedom and you just want to enjoy it.
Right.
The thought of tracking every penny can feel really restrictive.
Yeah, like who wants to do that?
Right, exactly.
But if you're living paycheck to paycheck and you don't even know where your money's going, that's when it gets dangerous.
That's when you're vulnerable.
Right, because then you might be relying on credit cards just to cover those gaps.
And that can be a slippery slope.
Yeah, and suddenly you're paying a premium.
Right.
For, going to that concert or buying that new gadget.
It's not just the cost of the item anymore.
Right, because it's that interest rate.
Exactly. You're paying interest on top of it.
Yeah, so let's say someone in their 20s, they're listening to this and they're like, oh, this is me. Mm-hmm. What can they do?
So what they need are some actionable steps.
Right, because just saying make a budget.
Yeah, that's too vague.
It's not very helpful.
It's not enough.
So what can they actually do?
Well, there are some great tools out there.
Okay.
Like budgeting apps.
Okay.
Have you heard of Mint or YNB?
I have.
These apps can give you a really clear visual picture of your income and your expenses.
Okay.
So you can see where your money's going.
So you can track it.
Exactly. And another helpful guideline is the 50-30-20 rule.
Okay, I've heard of this.
Yeah, it's a simple framework.
Okay.
So 50% of your after-tax income goes to your needs.
Right.
Like rent, food, transportation.
The essentials.
Exactly. The must-haves.
Okay.
Then 30% can go towards your wants.
Okay.
Things like entertainment, dining out.
But fun stuff.
Yeah, the things you enjoy.
Okay.
And then the remaining 20% should go towards savings and debt repayment.
Okay. So it's like a simple way to divide up your money.
It gives you a starting point.
I like it. It's easy to remember.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're starting to budget now.
Yes.
We're being more mindful of our spending.
We're getting on track.
But let's talk about another huge financial hurdle in your 20s.
Okay.
It's what we call bad debt.
Yeah.
Credit cards.
Oh, those credit cards.
Personal loans.
It's so easy to rack up debt.
Yeah, especially when you're first starting out.
You're excited.
You want those things.
You want to experience life.
Yeah, and you're not really thinking about those high interest rates.
You don't see the long-term impact yet.
Right, and then people fall into this trap of just paying the minimum payments.
That's a dangerous cycle.
It is, because it feels like you're doing something.
You think you're making progress.
Right, you're like, okay, I'm paying my bills.
But a lot of that money is just going towards interest.
So the actual amount you owe.
Yeah, the principal.
It's barely going down.
It's barely budging.
So you're stuck in debt for years.
And it ends up costing you so much more.
So for someone who is facing this, what's the best way to get out of it?
You need a plan.
What's the plan?
You need to prioritize.
Okay.
Focus on paying off the highest interest debts first.
Okay, so like if I have a credit card with a 20% interest rate,
yes,
that's got to be a priority.
That's the one you tackle first.
Over maybe like a student loan with a 5% interest rate?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because that high interest is just eating away at your money.
Okay, so how do I actually do that?
There are two popular methods.
Okay.
The debt snowball method and the debt avalanche method.
What's the difference?
With the debt snowball, you list your debts from smallest to largest.
Okay.
And you focus on paying off the smallest one first.
Okay.
Even if it has a lower interest rate.
Okay.
This gives you a quick win.
I see.
It keeps you motivated.
Like a psychological boost?
Exactly. You see progress, and it keeps you going.
Okay, what's the avalanche?
With the avalanche.
Yeah.
You list your debts by interest rate.
Okay.
Highest to lowest.
Sure.
And you target the one with the highest interest first.
Okay.
This saves you the most money on interest over time.
I see. So it's more about the long game.
It's about efficiency.
So which one's better?
There's no right or wrong answer.
Okay.
It depends on your personality.
Okay.
Some people need those quick wins.
The snowball.
Yeah, to stay motivated.
Okay. Others are more focused on the numbers.
The avalanche.
Okay, so choose what works for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The key is to be consistent.
And aggressive.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Don't just make the minimum payments.
Get rid of that debt.
Chip away at it as much as you can.
So we're budgeting. We're tackling debt.
We're making progress.
What's another big mistake people make in their 20s?
Oh, this is a big one.
That can really impact their future.
It's putting off investing.
Yeah. And it's so easy to do that.
Because you think you have time.
Right. You're young. You're like, I'll worry about that later.
Retirement feels so far away.
Yeah.
But there's a misconception that you need a lot of money to start investing.
Or that it's just for rich people.
Exactly. But that's not true at all.
So why is starting early so important?
It's all about compound interest.
Okay, I've heard this term.
It's like magic.
Explain it like I'm 20.
Okay, so imagine you plant a tiny seed.
Okay.
The earlier you plant it, the more time it has to grow into a big, strong tree.
Okay.
Same thing with investing.
Okay.
The money you invest early has more time to grow exponentially.
Okay.
Because you're earning interest on your interest.
So it's like a snowball effect.
Exactly. It just keeps building and building.
Okay, so give me an example.
All right, let's say you invest $100 a month starting in your early 20s.
Over time. Assuming an average rate of return.
Okay, fine.
That small contribution can grow into a significant amount.
Really?
Yeah, thanks to compounding.
Now, what if I wait until my 40s?
Okay.
And I invest $500 a month? 5 times more.
Right. You're putting in more money.
Yeah.
But because you missed out on those crucial early years, you might not end up with as much.
Wow. Even though I'm putting in more money.
Time is your biggest asset.
So it's really about starting early.
Yes, even if it's a small amount.
So how do I start?
You don't need to be a financial expert.
Okay, good.
There are simple options.
Okay.
Like index funds.
Okay.
Or retirement accounts.
Like what?
Like a 401k through your employer.
Okay.
Especially if they offer a matching contribution.
But it's free money.
It is.
Okay.
Or a Roth IRA.
Okay.
These options typically have low fees, and they offer diversification.
Okay, so I'm spreading my risk.
Exactly.
Okay, so just get started.
That's the most important step, even with a small amount.
Every dollar counts.
Okay, so we've talked about budgeting, tackling debt, and investing early.
We're building a strong foundation.
What's one more thing people in their 20s should have?
A safety net.
What do you mean?
An emergency fund.
Okay, why is that so important?
Because life is unpredictable.
True.
Unexpected expenses happen.
Like what?
Medical bills, car repairs, job loss.
Yeah, those things can really throw you off track.
Exactly. And without an emergency fund, you might have to rely on credit cards or take on more debt.
Which puts us back at square one.
It undoes all your hard work.
So how much should I have in my emergency fund?
A good rule of thumb
okay.
is 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses.
Okay.
Saved in a high-yield savings account.
So it's accessible?
Yes. You need to be able to access it quickly.
Okay, so it's like a financial cushion.
Exactly. It gives you peace of mind.
I like it.
It helps you weather those storms.
Okay, so let's move on to our 30s now.
All right, the 30s.
So much is happening in this decade.
Yeah, it's a time of growth and change.
Careers are taking off.
You're climbing that ladder.
Maybe starting a family.
Responsibilities are increasing.
Yeah, incomes might be rising.
You're earning more money.
Yeah, but there are new financial challenges too.
Absolutely.
One that comes to mind is lifestyle inflation.
Oh, this is a sneaky one.
Yeah, what is it exactly?
It's the tendency to increase your spending as your income grows.
Okay, so I get a raise, and suddenly I need a bigger house.
Maybe a nicer car.
More vacations.
Those tempting upgrades.
And it feels natural, right?
It does. You've worked hard.
You want to enjoy it.
Exactly. You deserve to treat yourself.
But what's the problem?
The problem is when your spending increases faster than your income.
Okay.
You're not actually building wealth.
You're just spending more.
You're on a treadmill going nowhere.
So how do I avoid this trap?
You need to prioritize your financial goals.
Okay.
Before you upgrade your lifestyle.
So before I buy that fancy car?
Decide how much you want to save and invest first.
Okay. So I set my savings goals.
Exactly.
And then I see what's left over for spending.
You're making conscious choices.
I like it.
It's about being intentional with your money.
Another thing that can get pushed aside in the 30s is retirement savings.
Oh, this is a crucial one.
Yeah, because you're busy.
Life is hectic.
You're focused on those immediate expenses.
The mortgage, the kids.
And retirement feels so far away.
It's easy to put it off.
But why is it so important to save for retirement in your 30s?
Because time is still on your side.
Okay.
You have more years for your money to grow.
That compounding thing again?
Exactly.
So how much should I be saving?
Aim for 15 to 20% of your gross income.
That's a lot.
It might seem like a lot.
Yeah.
But it's necessary to ensure a comfortable retirement.
And what about employer matching contributions?
Take advantage of them.
Yeah?
It's free money.
And what about different types of retirement accounts?
Yeah, like a Roth IRA versus a traditional 401k.
What's the difference?
A Roth IRA grows tax-free.
Okay.
But you contribute after-tax dollars.
Okay.
A traditional 401k.
Yeah.
Contributions are tax-deductible now.
Okay.
But you pay taxes in retirement.
So it depends on my tax situation.
Exactly. Talk to a financial advisor.
Okay, so now we're in our 30s. We're thinking about retirement, and we might be thinking about buying a home.
The big decision.
It is.
It can be a great investment.
Yeah, build wealth.
But it can also be a strain.
Right, if you're not careful.
You don't want to rush into it.
So what are the risks of buying too soon?
Well, if you're not financially stable, maybe you have a small down payment and a large mortgage.
Okay.
You could be house poor.
Meaning?
All your money goes towards housing expenses.
Okay.
And then unexpected repairs come up. Or interest rates rise.
And suddenly you're struggling.
It can be stressful.
But what if I wait too long?
Well, you could miss out on appreciation. Property values tend to go up over time.
Right.
So if you wait too long, you might end up paying more.
So it's a balancing act.
It is.
What's the best advice then?
Buy only when you're financially secure.
Okay.
Have an emergency fund, manageable debt, and a comfortable down payment.
So I'm not stretching myself too thin.
Exactly. And don't feel pressured to buy.
Right.
Just because it's what everyone else is doing.
Sometimes renting is better.
Yes.
Yeah.
If it allows you to achieve other goals.
Like saving and investing.
Exactly.
And speaking of protecting your finances, insurance is crucial in your 30s.
It's so often overlooked.
Why is that?
People think it won't happen to them.
Yeah, until it does.
Exactly.
So what types of insurance should I have?
Health insurance is essential.
Okay.
To cover medical costs.
Especially if you have a family.
Yes. Life insurance.
Okay.
To protect your family if something happens to you.
And how much do I need?
It depends on your circumstances. But enough to cover your debts and provide for your loved ones.
Okay.
And disability insurance.
Okay.
To replace your income if you can't work.
So it's like a safety net.
Exactly. It protects you from financial ruin.
Okay, so we've covered the 20s and the 30s.
A lot to think about.
Now let's talk about the 40s.
The crunch time decade.
Yeah, retirement is getting closer.
It's looming on the horizon.
And this is where things can get serious.
The stakes are higher.
Yeah. What's one of the biggest mistakes people make in their 40s?
Not having a solid retirement plan.
Okay.
Or realizing they haven't saved enough.
It's like waking up one day.
And panicking.
And realizing, oh no.
I'm not prepared.
Yeah, so what do I do if I'm in this situation?
You need to take action.
Okay.
Increase your retirement contributions.
As much as possible.
Yes. Max out those 401ks and IRAs.
Okay.
And explore passive income streams.
Like what?
Rental properties, online businesses.
Okay.
Anything that generates income without active work.
So I have multiple sources of income. Okay. And what else?
Revisit your financial plan.
Uh-huh.
Make sure it's still aligned with your goals.
And if it's not?
Adjust your spending or savings accordingly.
Okay.
It's never too late to make changes.
Another challenge in your 40s is wanting to help others financially.
This is a tough one.
It is, because you want to support your kids.
You want to give them the best.
Maybe your parents need help.
You want to take care of them.
But it can hurt your own finances.
You can't help others if you're struggling yourself.
Right. It's like that oxygen mask analogy.
Exactly. Put on your own mask first.
So how do I balance helping others with my own financial goals?
Communication is key.
Okay.
Talk to your kids about college costs.
Uh-huh.
Explore scholarships and loans.
Okay.
Talk to your parents about their needs.
Okay.
Explore government assistance programs.
Okay, so there are other options.
Yes. You don't have to shoulder everything yourself.
Okay, and what about investments in my 40s?
It's time to review your strategy.
Okay.
Are you diversified?
Hey!
Do you have your eggs in one basket?
Like, I only invest in real estate.
Or only one stock?
That's risky.
It is.
So what should I do?
Diversify your portfolio.
Okay.
Invest in a mix of assets.
Like what?
Stocks, bonds, real estate.
Okay.
Spread your risk.
So if one investment goes down,
others can cushion the blow.
Okay, so I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket.
Exactly.
And finally, estate planning.
Oh, this is important.
Yeah, it's not something we like to think about.
But it's crucial to protect your loved ones.
Okay.
Make sure your wishes are honored.
So what should I do?
Create a will.
Okay.
Specify how your assets should be distributed.
Uh-huh.
Consider trusts, if necessary.
Okay.
And update beneficiary designations.
On my accounts?
Yes.
Okay.
And talk to an estate planning attorney.
They can guide me through it.
They'll make sure everything's legal and in order.
So to recap?
Yes. Let's summarize.
In your 20s, don't ignore your budget.
Track your spending.
Tackle that high-interest debt.
Pay it down aggressively.
Start investing early.
Even if it's a small amount.
And build that emergency fund.
Protect yourself from the unexpected.
In your 30s, watch out for lifestyle inflation.
Don't let your spending outpace your income.
Prioritize retirement savings.
Contribute consistently.
Be thoughtful about buying a home.
Make sure you're financially ready.
And get adequate insurance coverage.
Protect yourself and your family.
And in your 40s, make sure you have a solid retirement plan.
Catch up if you need to.
Be mindful of helping others.
Don't sacrifice your own future.
Diversify your investments.
Spread your risk.
And take care of estate planning.
Protect your legacy.
Wow, that's a lot of information.
It is, but it's all about taking small steps.
Right.
One day at a time.
So no matter what decade you're in, it's never too late.
To improve your finances.
Right. So what's one small action?
Yeah, what can you do today?
That our listeners can take right now.
A tiny step towards a better future.
Maybe it's downloading a budgeting app.
Or increasing your 401k contributions.
Or talking to a financial advisor.
Or simply having a money conversation with your partner.
And remember, financial well-being, it's not just about the money.
It's about security.
Freedom and leaving a legacy.
Exactly.
So think about the future you want.
Yeah.
And take that first step towards it today.
It's worth it.
Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
I'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.